So, the long-awaited Bahrain Grand Prix is here. It's nighttime here, and we're going to be racing under the lights here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Bit of less fuel in the car, setting up the car properly to go around this track. Park firm regulations, obviously, no one cares about that. But going into our first round of qualifying, only it's a short qualifying, not a full qualifying. And clearly, the first run will not be the greatest, and the first season of Myteam career mode is never going to be the quickest. As you can see, oversteer immediately coming out of turn one, but I'm going to skip a bit here. The DRS bit, so obviously you don't need to watch that. But first sector nicely done for the first run. Got a bit wide here, but it's okay. Nicely done here. Going to get the car braked in early there, another snap there, and again there, and that coming out of that corner. Remember this tricky downhill braking. Ooh, gotta make sure you don't hit the curb on the right hand side, or you go off. See, go off a little bit there, and I barely hit it, and a bit more oversteer there again. Here I go wide a little bit. Gotta shift early up into 5th gear, sometimes 6th gear as well, to make sure your wheels don't spin coming out of that corner, and that corner as well. Make sure you don't touch the curb. This one, just roll your car around. Same with this last corner as well, and bit of a snap there. You can see me fighting the wheel there. And that puts us into P4, obviously not for very long, and this is the second run of qualifying, where I'm currently P19, sorry, it was just changed. Obviously you don't want to watch that. Brake it as late as possible, turning in there, get nice and light, get the car nicely turned. And I went a bit wide, but gained loads of time. Already 2 temps up, see what I can do here. Very well done. Go as wide as possible, use as much track as you can. Obviously do a Lewis Hamilton, don't die here. And ooh, it's a bit shaky here. Ooh, and I've spun, and I've hit the Aramco board, and thankfully I have not retired out of qualifying. It's only just front wing damage, despite just having simulation damage. I don't know how that's happened, but it's quite a big shunt. But came back in, got my front wing changed. Gonna go for the last run in qualifying. Went very wide as I went very deep and braked extremely late, testing my luck there. I kind of bombed out even on that curb on the right hand side coming out of turn 2. Learnt my lesson from the last run. Didn't go as wide. Made sure my car didn't oversteer into that corner, because obviously that would have been pretty bad. Did an early correction there to make sure that I didn't spin. Same there again, saving the car nicely, 6 temps up. Here I shift really early into 6th gear, because don't want to spin out once I felt on my wheel that I was about to die. But here we go, 7 temps up. Can I keep it round here? Ooh, I go a bit wide, I miss the apex. Don't complain about track limits there, because it's on regular. No one does strict track limits in my team. But here we go, DRS on and crossing the line, and that is good enough for P17, and that will be our grid slot. As you can see, this is the grid. Max Verstappen is on pole position, then Checo, then Lewis Hamilton, and then obviously the rest of the grid, not really that important or interesting. As you can see, there Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Ocon, Alonso, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, etc. There, and Leclerc is in 6th.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Carlos Sainz and Leclerc, Norris, Bottas, Ricciardo and Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Kevin Magnussen and Gasly, Joe, Tsunoda, the owner driver, and Sebastian Vettel. Oscar Piastri, Latifi, Stroll, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Right,
Okay,
so
here
anyway,
we go.
moving on to the formation lap towards the end here, moving a bit to get the tyres nice and warm, as tyre heating, or heating up the tyres even in this game, is 10 times harder than it is in the last game. Trying to do some burnouts here, getting onto the grid slot. So we're reaching up to our grid slot now. Honestly, I love this feature. I think it's actually amazing that this feature is in the game. As you can see, you're going to get an optimal here. Perfect, absolutely perfect, and definitely one of the best features added onto the game. Maybe not the best, but it's a very, very good feature. As you can see, the 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights as we go to green, and it's lights out in Bahrain. And Tsunoda gets off well, but I get off better. He has the better straight line speed due to the car being better. I'm going to go on the inside here, try and overtake him straight away as he goes defensive, and I overtake a few cars, and I have to go really early there and bang tyres there with Alonso and Ocon a little bit. And there we go. I'm through. I'm past Alonso, and I've made up a few places, 4 places. I cover off Alonso there. That was a bit rash move, and I go really just dive bomb there, Gasly, and I had to go inside and go over the curbs to defend to take avoiding action here. And obviously, taken away from the qualifying session, I learned to be careful a little bit more through here. As you can see, they brake really early there, the AI, and it's quite hard to predict their line. As you can see, Ocon gets quite close, and here, Gasly, I have to take avoiding action here, or should I say Ocon pushes me wide a little bit, and I have to go off the circuit. He gains a position. Now I have Magnussen on my side. No DRS yet, obviously it's lap 1. I have the quicker car. He's got the quicker straight line speed, however. I'm using a bit of ERS. He's getting ahead. He's up on the inside. He's got the better line. I'm here on the outside. I cut across. He has to see the position. Thankfully, I get ahead. And now we have to chase Ocon and Gasly for the rest of the race. And this is going to be an even interesting uphill climb. And Ocon is getting away because his car, Alpine, are very good. They're like 4th or 5th in the R&D. And from now on until the end of the race, it's going to be a big uphill climb for us to try and get the points. There, Max Verstappen setting the fastest lap, 1:34.9, I think that said. And here we go, onto the straight. I'm gaining on Ocon a little bit, using a bit of my ERS. Topping out like 200, 201-ish. And as you can see, this is the restart. Max Verstappen got away very well. Checo not really fighting there. As you can see, look at the inside on the Ferrari, and Checo is a bit slow there. He gets pushed out by one of the Mercedes and is 3 wide into turn 2, and the Mercedes gets off well. I think that's George Russell, and I think that's Leclerc that had to give up the position in the end. But as you can see, that's me in the back defending from Alonso, and that's the Alfa Romeo going for a move on the inside of Bottas, making a move, and he's still he was side by side with one of the Ferraris and the McLaren here, and the Magnussen, I think, and whatnot. And there's Ocon, I think, trying on my back. That's Fernando Alonso that lost a position to Alonso, Magnussen even, and there we go. And that's Leclerc on the inside of Hamilton, but it's not the end for Hamilton, the 7-time world champion in the Mercedes. Actually, a lot quicker than the Ferrari. No, sorry, my apologies, the 3rd quickest car. The Ferrari on the straight is absolutely insane. Look at that. He's gained so much time on the Mercedes, and he's up on the inside of Lewis Hamilton. But Lewis Hamilton, using all of his experience coming out of turn 2, he knows the inside line is even better, and the outside, the Ferrari sticks on the outside, and he gets past Lewis Hamilton, and the Ferrari's going to have the DRS, but Lewis Hamilton is alongside the Ferrari without DRS, and he's slightly ahead, but the Ferrari is battling this hard, and overall gains a position over Lewis Hamilton. Cutting on to lap 3 here. Honestly, it's been quite a boring race up until now, where I've just spun and I tried to get back on the track. Obviously, not very safe. That was very foolishly of me. And there's a pile up there at the back where Vettel, Piastri, Albon, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. And I think Latifi got off worse. As you can see, Oscar Piastri now fighting Alex Albon for P18. And Albon gets ahead. But Piastri will have DRS on the Williams. But Lance bloody Stroll, comes on the inside, boxes in Piastri, and Piastri cannot make a move. And he gets overtaken by Lance Stroll. Alexander Albon gets ahead. He stays ahead going into this corner. As you can see, Max having a commanding lead. Now Perez getting pressurised by Lewis Hamilton into turn 4. Can he do anything? Can Lewis Hamilton do anything to get ahead of the Red Bull? Here we go. Red Bull has a much better line than the Mercedes. But now, that's the 2 Mercedes squabbling there. George Russell on the outside of Lewis Hamilton. He will stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The less experienced teammate is supposedly called the first driver. And there we go. I make the move on Lance Stroll. And lap 15, as there was not that many actions, so I skipped a few laps. There was not a lot of action, so yeah. But here we go into lap 18 now. Not too much happening, but there's not a lot going on as we're going to go on to lap 19. But never mind, I touched the inside curb and I've spun again. This is not a good start for Citroen Racing F1 team. And Oscar Piastri's just hit the back of me. This is not good, and that brings out the safety car. Oh my goodness, what has Piastri just done? Has he not got any awareness? As you can see, I boxed here for softs on lap 21. I waited out a little bit behind the safety car, otherwise Latifi would have overtaken me, and that would have given me more of a hard job. But here we go. On the safety restart, Max Verstappen leads the way in this Bahrain Grand Prix, lap 24, into turn 1. No action so far. Perez stays behind, but Lando Norris has just dive-bombed like 2 cars, and he doesn't get ahead of Carlos Sainz, however, but he does get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic move. And here I had to take avoiding action to Sebastian Vettel as he just swerves across, and I get wing damage in the end. But I do get the position. And on the fresh softs, obviously I'm going to be quicker here. On this next straight, no DRS quite yet. But Albon, there on the inside, he kind of takes a defensive line and he dive bombs Zhou Guanyu and almost gets Yuki Tsunoda for the 2 for the price of 1. And that's me coming out on the outside. It's going to be 3 wide into their section. Zhou Guanyu gets ahead. Alexander Albon has to see the position to me. Zhou Guanyu breaks really early, so I make the nice dive bomb there. And I stay ahead of Zhou Guanyu for the rest of the race. Here we go, lap 24, the end of lap 24. I make a move on Yuki Tsunoda. Got to make the moves quick. Go on the inside curb, get my elbows out there a little bit. But it needs to happen because I've got to make the moves up there. I've got to make the moves. But here we go. That is Yuki Tsunoda making the move there on Zhou Guanyu. And he gets ahead. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get ahead. Lap 26 now. Kevin Magnussen now ahead. He's going to brake really early. And I'm going to go really nicely there on the inside. He gives me room. It's perfect. I'm car length ahead now. And I've got the move done on Kevin Magnussen. Going on to lap 28. This is Esteban Ocon. Oh, sorry. I had to play DRS chicken here with Kevin Magnussen. Otherwise, he would have overtaken me on the straight. But here we go. I've overtaken him. Re-overtaken him again after he overtook me. He tries to go for the inside line. I defend on the inside. Ocon locks up. And he loses the position. Sorry. Now he has Zhou Guanyu on his tail, on his gearbox, with a quicker car. And as you can see, Zhou Guanyu is not going to give up this position. He wants it. He's ahead into the S section. Ocon now does not benefit from that lock-up. Here, now, cutting on to lap 29. Sorry, last lap of the race. Tyres are screaming out for help. Magnussen probably on the better compound right now. He is not quicker than me, however. I stay ahead for those last laps. And it's going to be a phenomenal start to the career mode here. Not so much for Oscar Piastri, but very well for us. P12 in our debut race. Go a bit wide there on the racing line, but Kevin Magnussen cannot come close. Max Verstappen setting the fastest lap, 1:31. Sorry, Leclerc just set the fastest lap, and Max Verstappen wins in the Red Bull. Unfortunately for Leclerc, but here you go, defending Magnussen, placing the car nicely into the corner. Kevin Magnussen cannot get past, and that's going to be easy 12th place for us with wing damage for that whole race since the safety car restart after Sebastian Vettel actually did that little wheezy move there, but it's all right. P12 for the debut of Citroën Formula 1 racing. Unfortunately for Oscar Piastri, their driver of the day as well. Unfortunately for Oscar Piastri, getting a DNF there, not very smart or not very well. But it's a win for Red Bull. It's a win for Max Verstappen, and this is going to set shape for the rest of the season. There you go, celebrating. Leclerc third, and I'm pretty sure it is Perez in second place. So that completes the podium for the Bahrain Grand Prix and the first race of this season. And what a phenomenal race it's been, honestly. As we get to the podium here, Max Verstappen walking through. What a phenomenal race. Honestly, I'm going to keep saying phenomenal because that was one way to describe it. Not too much action, but too much action. Honestly, good race. Well done for Max Verstappen and Red Bull. And this is going to be a long, long season for them. And it's going to be a big uphill climb for Ferrari if they want to challenge for the title. Including for Mercedes as well, that want to be there. And not a good race for them if they want to be challenging for the constructors also. And there's the race finish, and there's the standings there. So this was the race order right here. Oscar Piastri in last, and George Russell ended up DNFing actually. Sorry, I think he had an engine failure in under the safety car. We kind of missed that. I didn't get that, but that's Max Verstappen that wins. So there's that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. It's been quite a chaotic one, and Jeddah next. And I'll see you guys for Jeddah next time around.